The North Korean defectors who became YouTube stars. CNN. Growing up in North Korea, Kang Na-ra had never used the internet. Even the privileged few of her compatriots who were allowed the smartphones could access only the nation's tightly restricted intranet. YouTube, Instagram, and Google are entirely alien concepts. Today, Kang is a YouTube star with more than 350,000 subscribers. Her most popular videos have raked in millions of views. Her Instagram account with more than 130,000 followers boosts sponsored ads for major brands including Chanel and Puma. She is among an increasing number of North Korean defectors who, after escaping into South Korea, have made what might seem unlikely careers as YouTubers and social media influencers. Dozens have followed a similar path in the past decade, their videos and accounts giving a rare glimpse into life in the hermit kingdom, the food North Koreans eat, and the slang they use their daily routines. The highly restricted North Korean intranet shone on a computer screen in Pyongyang on September 14, 2012. Some channels offer more political content, exploring North Korea's relationship with other countries. Others dive into the rich and, for those newly defected, entirely novel worlds of pop culture and entertainment. But for many of these influencers who have fled one of the world's most isolated and impoverished nations for one of its most technologically advanced and digitally connected, this career path isn't as strange as it may be seen. The defectors and experts say these online platforms offer not only a path to financial independence, but a sense of agency and representation as they assimilate to the daunting new world. Path to freedom. Defectors are a relatively recent phenomena. They began entering South Korea in significant numbers in the past 20 years, most fleeing over North Korea's lengthy border with China, said Sok-gil Bak, the South Korea country director for international non-profit liberty in North Korea. Since 1998, more than 33,000 people have defected from North to South Korea, according to Seoul's Unification Ministry, with the numbers peaking at 2,414 in 2009. Kang, now 25, is among the many to have made the trip, one laden with risks such as being trafficking in China's sex trade or being caught and sent back to North Korea, where defectors can face torture, imprisonment, and even death. Kang fled to the South in 2014 as a teenager, joining her mother, who have already defected. It was a tough effort. Like many others, she faced loneliness, culture shock, and financial pressures. The South's notoriously competitive job market is even tougher for defectors, who must adjust to both the capitalist society and the hostility from some locals. As of 2020, 9.4% of defectors were unemployed, compared to 4% of the general population, according to the Unification Ministry. For Kang, a turning point came when she started receiving counseling and joined a school with other defectors. But it wasn't until she appeared in the South Korean TV show that life really became interesting, she said. Defector TV. In 2010, growing public fascination with North Koreans gave rise to a new genre of television known as defector TV, in which defectors were invited to share their experiences. Some of best known shows including Now on My Way to Meet You, which first aired in 2011, and Mo Lang Bong Club, which aired in 2014-15. Kang appeared on both, and it was around this time that she first laid eyes on YouTube, where she was especially drawn to videos about makeup, beauty, and fashion. By 2017, she had created her own channel, leveraging her growing fame and recording my daily life for people who like me from TV show. Kang Nara is seen on camera monitor in a studio in Seoul, South Korea on September 5, 2019. Many of her YouTube videos explore differences between the two Koreas in the cheerful conversational style, such as contrasting beauty norms. In North Korea, if you have big breasts, that's considered to be not good. She laughed in one video, recalling her surprise at discovering padded bras and breast implant in the South. Other videos answer common questions on escaping North Korea, such as what defectors bring with them, salt for luck, a family photo for comfort, and rat poison in case they got caught. For when you know that you're going to die. Eventually, the channel grew so popular that she landed representation from three management agencies, hired video producers, and began attracting clients for sponsored Instagram content. I have a steady flow of income now, she said. I can buy and eat what I want, and I can rest when I want to. A video on Kang Nara's YouTube channel. This model of success, echoed by other defector YouTubers such as Kang Eun-jung with more than 177,000 subscribers, Jun Ho with more than 270,000 before he took down his channel this year, and Park Soo-hyang with 45,000 has inspired many others to join YouTube. Part of their success, according to a Sok-il Park of Liberty, North Korea, is that defectors are quite entrepreneurial. I think a factor in that is that you are in control. You are not being ordered around by a South Korean boss and having to stress about South Korean work culture, he said. It may be a struggle, but people have agency. You're your own boss on your own schedule. Stories on their own terms. Defector TV may have helped supercharge the popularity of some of these influencers, but it has also drawn controversy among the defector community. Some view it as imperfect but helpful in giving the South Korean public greater exposure to their northern peers, Park said, but many others criticize the talk shows as being sensationalist, exaggerated, e- exa- exaggerated, outdated, and inaccurate. For instance, the shows often use the cartoon graphics, elaborate the background sets and sound effects, such as mournful music that plays while defectors record their past. At the end of the day, these are entertainment shows, not documentary. Park said, adding, the shows are made by South Korean TV producers and writers. Obviously, the defectors don't have editorial control. Park Soo-hyang, a North Korean defector, recalls the YouTube video at home in Seoul, South Korea on May 19, 2018. This frustration with how North Koreans are represented in mainstream media and their desire to tell their stories on their own terms is one major reason why so many defectors have turned to social media. Many defectors feel that South Koreans have only a very shallow understanding of North Korea, or that they have certain stereotypes about North Korean people that should be challenged, Spark said. YouTube allows the very different level of control and agency to be able to just set up a camera in your apartment or wherever you might film and just speak directly to the audience, building bridges between the Koreas. But for many defector YouTubers, there is another loftier goal besides the earning the independent income by telling their own stories, bridging the gap between the two Koreas. It's a all it's a tall task, especially in recent years as relations have deteriorated due to the disagreement over the North weapons testing and the South joint military drills with the United States. But some say these tensions are exactly why it's important to humanize and connect Koreans from each side. I believe letting people know about the hardship of North Koreans through the YouTube can be helpful for my people in North Korea, said Kang Eun-jung, 35, who fled North Korea in 2008 and started her YouTube channel in 2019. For her, YouTube is a way to keep reminding myself about my identity, who I am, and where I came from, as well as to teach people about defectors' experiences. If the two Korea get united, I want to interview many people in North Korea, she added. Still, there's a problem for those hoping to bridge the divide. Their audiences are getting older, possibly between because their content appeals most to the generation that lived through the Korean War of the 1950s and its aftermath. The generation that remembers North and South Korea as the one country is passing away, Park said. That makes the building bridges among the younger generation more urgent. Most of Kang Eun-jung's viewers are in their 50s or older, while Kang Na-ra's are mostly in their 30s, relatively high age bracket in the world of social media. Part of the problem may be that young South Koreans know next to nothing about their peers on the other side of the demilitarized zone, instead being bombarded with the ominous news headlines about the security situation, political rhetoric, and the military saber rattling. As a result, Park said the young South Koreans know American people better than North Korean people. They know Japanese people better than North Korean people, and they know Chinese people better than North Korean people. So, being able to resume some form of people to people contact, understanding, and empathy. If there's a North Koreans making their own YouTube channels, then that's great. From Kang Na-ra, who left behind many friends in North Korea and once even considered returning to the repressive regime, that distance feels personal. I want to have more subscribers in their teens and people in their 20s because I want more young people to care about unification and be interested in North Korea, she said. Wouldn't it raise the possibility of me going back to my hometown before I die? If more young people want unification of the Koreas, couldn't it come true?